It's a shocker of a story coming out of South Delhi. A 12-year-old student studying at a private school allegedly died under mysterious circumstances. This is in Delhi's Vasant Vihar area. As per sources, this incident took place at around 9 a.m. and the victim was from the economically weaker section. The victim was rushed to a private hospital before he was declared dead. And now the family of the victim is pointing fingers at the school administration, accusing them of negligence. The victim's mother claimed that her son died after a fight with his classmate and was strangled to death. Family members have also alleged that a teacher was present at the spot when the scuffle took place but didn't intervene. Cops meanwhile hinted that the victim may have been suffering from a medical condition and suspect seizure as the cause of death. But listen in to what the child's mother had to say.
मेरा बच्चा इतने अच्छे से साफ सुथरा बनकर रोज जाता, किसी चीज में कंप्लेंट नहीं आती है, पढ़ने में सबसे ज्यादा परफेक्ट मेरा बेटा। क्या आपके बच्चे के चोट लग गई है, हॉस्पिटल लेके गए आप? चलो मैम, मैं हॉस्पिटल गई तो वहाँ बोल दिया आपका बच्चा है ही नहीं, खत्म हो गया। तो सर इतनी देर में क्या हो गया मेरे बच्चे को?
डॉक्टर बोल
नहीं देखने दिया, एकदम एक्टिव बच्चा था, स्कूल में उसका रिकॉर्ड चेक कर लो, सब फुटबॉल में फर्स्ट आता था, पढ़ाई में भी फर्स्ट आता था मेरा बेटा।
The school administration has issued a statement on this incident. Like the victim's family claimed, school authorities admitted that there was a scuffle between two students of class 6 and one of them collapsed after the fight. In its statement, the school administration has said that it took prompt action by informing concerned authorities and assured full cooperation in the matter. Delhi police, however, has ruled out the possibility of unnatural death. Cops, of course, are basing this on the basis of the medical report saying that there were no assault marks found on the body, and said that there was white froth that was oozing from the victim's mouth. Let's take this across, in fact, to our guests joining us. We have, in fact, Vikram Singh, who's a former DGP of UP. We have Aditi Anil Jain, who's a chairperson of the Gaya Green School. Let me start with you first and foremost. Aditi Anil Jain, prima facie, this is a huge lapse. How is it that children get into a scuffle? There is no supervision, there are no teachers around, and a child dies. It just doesn't get more shocking like that, because parents send their children to school under the assumption that they would be safe and secure. The last thing that they expect is for a student to die in school, and that too because of a physical scuffle.
Absolutely, this is a very shocking news. In fact, when you talk of a school, schools are always under cameras. Things are recorded in the cameras. I'm sure the police must be going through that footage. But more important than that is, how can a child of that age be so aggressive that he ends up killing another fellow being of his class? That is something which is absolutely abhorrent and needs to be worked at. I feel the way the society is absolutely egocentric, and there's a lot of ego. Things are working towards, there has to be a collective responsibility of all the things that the kids are watching, the games, the aggressive games that they play. I feel more than everything, we need to look at it very seriously and see if it is the school's lapse. We need to take all of that into consideration. You cannot run a school if you can't keep children safe. But apart from that, how does this happen? When we were kids, we never heard anything like this, ever. People were considerate, people were kind, people were God-fearing. Now it seems like little bit happens and you become so out of control that you can go to any limit. Nobody knows how to stay in their, boundaries. Why all this is happening definitely depends on the environment that we are also growing up in. And if there is a lapse, tell me how. Have you ever gone to a school where non-stop a teacher is on your head? It doesn't happen like that. But then we are always, surrounded by people. You're never unguarded. It is a little alarming to hear what I'm hearing from your recordings, that there was no one, there was no teacher. This is strange. We need to ask, how can this happen in a school? But, my request to everyone all the parents, all the teachers, and everyone around listening is that we need to create an environment which is congenial, which is a loving and a friendly environment. We need to make movies that are character building. Nothing like that we see in today's time and age.
Let me in fact bring in one of the family members. We have Vineet, who's the uncle of the child, joining us from Delhi. Vineet ji, बहुत ही दुखद घटना है ये. We don't want to identify Mr. Vineet respecting the privacy, but the story has to be told because the family members have spoken to us and they're absolutely shocked. Vineet ji, आप क्या बताना चाहेंगे हमारे दर्शकों को कि हुआ क्या था इस पूरे मामले में? थोड़ा समझाना चाहेंगे कि क्या घटना हुई है, वहां के स्टूडेंट्स ने आपके परिवार वालों को क्या बोला है?
जी सर, स्टूडेंट्स ने बताया जब हम लोगों को सुबह कॉल आया था कि टीचर का करीब 9:30 बजे कि आपके बच्चे को किसी बच्चे के साथ झगड़ा होने पे किसी बच्चे ने धक्का देके गिरा दिया है क्लास में। तो हम लोग हॉस्पिटल पहुंचे, ना तो उन्होंने हमें स्कूल के टाइम पे बताया जो कि हम देख पाते स्कूल जाके। डायरेक्टली हम लोगों को उन लोगों ने जब बुलाया, जब बच्चे को वो हॉस्पिटल ले गए थे बिना हमारी परमिशन के या बिना हमें इन्फॉर्म करे, वहां जाके हमें पता चलता है कि बच्चे को गिरा दिया धक्का मार के किसी बच्चे ने। फिर हम वहां जाके डॉक्टर से मिलते हैं तो डॉक्टर बताता है कि किसी बच्चे ने गले से पुश किया है। फिर उसके बाद टीचर बोलती है कि इसको किसी तरीके का कोई बच्चे ने वो नहीं किया, दौरा पड़ा है। फिर जब हमारी दोबारा डॉक्टर से बात होती है तब डॉक्टर ने कहा कि टीचर ने डॉक्टर के सामने कहा कि इन 2 बच्चों का झगड़ा हुआ है और बच्चे से गलती से ये बच्चा नीचे गिर गया और ये बेहोश हो गया। लेकिन जब हम बच्चे से मिले, सबसे पहले बच्चे से जाके मैं मिला तो डॉक्टरों ने उसको बिल्कुल डेड बता दिया था, घोषित कर दिया था, पूरा पैक कर रखा था। हमें बच्चे की बॉडी देखने भी नहीं दी, यहाँ तक गले तक बच्चा पैक था, हम सिर्फ बच्चे का फेस ही देख पाए। हमने कहा हम बॉडी चेक करना चाहते हैं खोल के, पर उन्होंने, अब भगवान जाने वहाँ जो पुलिस थी, पुलिस का था या स्कूल वालों का था, क्या था, हमें बॉडी को प्रॉपर चेक नहीं करने दिया, कुछ भी नहीं देखने दिया। बोला इसकी कोई चोट नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है।
Ji, let me bring in Dr. Vikram Singh. Dr. Vikram Singh, this is very, very bizarre because you have the family saying that there was some kind of a scuffle. That's what other school children are telling them. The school is admitting in its statement that there is a scuffle. Yet, you have the Delhi police that is going strictly by what the doctors are saying, that there was foam oozing out of the mouth. You know, what really is going on? The story is just not adding up.
Madhav Ji, good evening and good evening esteemed panelists. I would say that something very, very bizarre and that's not adding up totally. And there seems to be an operation cover-up. If there was frothing in the mouth, it did not happen accidentally. And any accident, indeed, agreed that there may not be anti-mortem injuries on the body, but that does not mean that any foul play. Frothing happens of multiple reasons. Epilepsy could be one, and there could also be some internal injuries. Frothing in a 12-year-old is indicative of the fact of internal trauma. Internal trauma of the alimentary canal too can lead to this. But the fact of the matter is that it was a superficial inquest, superficial postmortem and a superficial investigation, and giving a clean chit even before the investigation is over. Why rush up things in the fast forward mode? Who are you trying to protect? I do not like the tone and tenor of the police statement that yes, there was no foul play. First examine, first evaluate all the aspects, and that doesn't happen. A 12-year-old is almost a teenager, and the things that you do not expect an enlarged spleen or an enlarged liver so as to precipitate this kind of a death. That boy died before his time, and I share the anguish of this man that needs to be investigated in depth, and the school cannot wash its hands of the case, nor can the police investigators.
We certainly hope the police get to the bottom of this matter because it's absolutely shocking, completely unacceptable, and I'm sure many of the parents watching this broadcast today would be completely incensed that this has happened in the national capital, in the affluent Vasant Vihar area. It doesn't get more posh than that in South Delhi, and despite that, this is the kind of situation, this is the kind of thing that is happening inside a school. Completely unacceptable. We have to ensure that there is justice done for the family which is awaiting it. I'd like to thank Dr. Vikram Singh, Aditi Anil Jain, as well as the uncle of the child for joining us this evening.